Hey, what's up, everybody? Your boy JC. Everyday Thoughts is in the building. Everybody gather around. Y'all know what time it is. How's everybody doing tonight? Tonight's topic is why aren't black men in church? Special guest to me tonight, Mr. Angelo Harris. So everybody gather around your boy JC. Angelo's in the building tonight. How's everybody doing tonight? Who we got in the building tonight? What's going on, Marie? What's going on, Miss Johnson? What's going on, Angie? Miss Love, how's everybody doing tonight? Christine, Ghidorah, how's everybody doing tonight? Harold. Hold on one second, waiting on my co-host real quick. It's gonna knock it out, I'm gonna chop it up tonight. Let's go here. Hey. Yo, what's poppin', man?
What's up?
Chillin', what's good with you, man?
Just checking in. Just came from checking in on my mother. Just getting off work.
Okay, hope all well with her. God bless her.
Thank you.
Alright, so let's get into it. Tonight's topic is why are black men in church? For some reason, I feel like a lot of black men are in church because a lot of times it's forcing them as a child, and a lot of times they just don't feel like going. Maybe because they want to go and watch sports or they want to do other stuff. But a lot of times too, they don't trust the pastor or the people that's preaching, and a lot of times they just too lazy to go. Let's just be completely honest. But what's your take on why black men or some black men aren't in the churches nowadays?
I think I think it runs a little deeper than black men too lazy to go, because you got a lot of the fastest growing religion among black men is Islam. You got a lot of brothers converting over to Islam, converting over to Muslims, and they see that that's the best path for them to go. A lot of black men these days who call themselves woke. They consider Christianity to be they consider Christianity to be a white man's religion.
Yeah.
They feel like Christianity was forced upon us, and slave masters use religion to keep the slaves in line and what have you, and that sort of transcended into now. I think that has a lot to do with why a lot of black men don't go to church. And then another thing, and I'm not, first of all, everybody who's watching, I'm not anti-church. I grew up in the church, but I've witnessed things in the church that could turn people off the church, turn people off to going to church. Another thing, there's too much division in the church. Cause like I'm a member of Union, well, I'm a member of Midtown Church of Christ over in Midtown Memphis. And we had a situation a few years ago where some of the members, they sued our pastor. They took him to court because they felt like he had too much power in the church. But these were basically some people who were just petty, jealous of him. And I mean, he won his case, but still, it's a shame that, it had to come down to something like that between, people who's supposed to be people of God. It's for one thing, it's way too much division in the church. And then a lot of people in church, aren't who they say they are. Everybody who tells you they're a millionaire, they not a millionaire. Everybody who tells you they're an executive producer, not an executive producer. And definitely in church, everybody who tells you that they're a Christian, they are not. They are not a Christian. What I've had some of the people act, and all this division and backstabbing each other. If that's what being a Christian is, I would want to be a Christian if some of those people are a Christian. There's some people just really don't have given the church a bad name. Then another thing, the Lord says, "Come as you are." It's too many people don't turn church into a fashion show. Who's who, who got on what, who got the sharpest outfit, who pulling up in the cleanest ride. Is this church, or is this a player's bar? Are you assembling to worship God, Or is this a player's ball? You would think it's a player's ball the way people want, want to floss and flash and everything. That's not why you go to church. That's not why you attend church. You attend church to be one with God and relax your mind spiritually. That's why you attend church. But especially in this day and time, you can go to church to get away from the devil, and you could be sitting right next to the devil in church.
Amen.
Matter of fact, and in some cases, the devil could be at the pulpit preaching. That guy could be the devil. So it's like the church is not what it used to be, because during the civil rights era, the church was like the foundation. It was like the spiritual basis of the Black community. But now I feel like the church has fallen off. The church has failed the Black community miserably. I mean, the church is just totally out of touch with a lot of issues now facing the Black community. What's so funny, John? You just grinning and cheese?
No, I'm just saying. You said the church is out of tone, but you got to make sure you're in tune with the Bible. That's your religion and stuff. I'm all into the Bible, not so much what the man says, all about what the man upstairs says. Like I said, there are some false prophets. There are some wolves in sheep clothing, but you always got to make sure that you know who you are. But for me, like I said, I never mind going to church. That's always been something I've always liked doing. For me personally, that's what I always like doing. But I'm not here to sit and judge nobody else. But it is kind of sad that you don't see enough brothers in the churches. But
well, you're absolutely right. A lot of times you go to church. Church is mainly composed of women and children. It's hard to get men to go to church, especially Black men.
I mean, it's not even so much church. It's just in general where you see a lot of men that should be in leadership positions, whether it's organizations, fundraisers, etc. You see a lot of women leading the category. It's kind of like, where's the men? Aren't the men supposed to be leading and setting the example? But a lot of times you just see a lot of either just moms or just women in general leading everything. It's kind of like the roles have been reversed. I wasn't saying church as in church. I mean just church in general, as far as a statement where like men can really come together and just kind of talk and just be leaders of their communities. We keep talking about the women don't let us lead, don't let them lead, but we do have opportunities. We do have events that we can lead in, but a lot of times we fail to use that or recognize that.
Then another big thing that concerns the Black community about the church: where is all that money going? I mean, the church. The Black church rakes in a lot of money.
Yeah.
We talking about a lot of money. We probably talking about billions each year. The church rakes in a lot of money. And yet you go in the Black community, a lot of times the racial disparity is ridiculous. A lot of times, the Black community, they got the worst houses, most ran down buildings, ran down neighborhoods, streets need paving and everything, but all this, but all this money is being put into the church. Yeah. So I'm wondering where all this money going to.
Yeah.
And then another thing, these days the church doesn't follow the guidelines of the Bible. The Bible says you're supposed to take care of the church is supposed to take care of the orphans and the widows. The church doesn't do that. They don't. The church doesn't do that. A lot of times, pastor there to take care of himself. I bet you pastor ain't living in the hood. I bet you pastor a lot of times, I bet you pastor got to clean his car. Pastor got to clean his car. Anybody in that church. You go over to his house, each one of his children got big screen TV in a room and wall-to-wall carpet. And pastor living good, but the flock, they struggling. I mean, the sheep herd are living good, but the sheep struggling.
Yeah, you're right about that. What's going on, Asia, Remy,
What's up,
Andrea,
Randy?
Crystal, Justin, Mason, Michelle, Janae, Don. What's going on, Cynthia? What's going on, everybody? But now that, like I said before, like I said, you gotta base your faith on the Lord above. That's what you believe in. Like I said, I don't sit here and judge somebody what their preferences are, what they believe in. But you know, like I said, just the whole situation about the pastors using the money for themselves. You got nice cars, nice houses, etc. Yeah, it's kind of
Not
sad that they're
only that,
not really
Jonathan,
helping out.
and not only that, Jonathan. Okay, my little Facebook sister, Remy Morris, she made an interesting comment. That's why I love this beautiful queen so much because she is so intelligent and so deep. Okay, she says, take a look at the faith-based initiative. Now, I understand the direction she's going. Now, that would turn a lot of people off to the church too. Also, especially black men, and I'm saying it to say this, because I know the direction that Remy is going. Some of these heads, these people over this quote unquote so-called faith-based initiative stuff, tell you, John, some of them people are some of the most racist people on the planet. You see these Republicans trying to cut off programs, for poor children, urban children, and all of that. You see, these people supposed to be Christians talking about a certain segment just want a handout. They just want something handed to them. Those people are racist. A lot of them people are quote unquote leaders of faith-based initiative. I don't respect stuff like that, Jonathan. I don't respect. You can have a hand, a church or whatever, call yourself whatever you want. Talking about you one of God's people. You ain't one of God's people. I don't respect people like that. I don't respect racist people. And like Remy, was hitting it. There are a lot of faith-based initiative organizations and people who they take racism and use it in the name of God.
Yeah.
A lot of people use racism in the name of God. A lot of Donald Trump's higher up people use racism in the name of God. I don't respect any of Donald Trump's higher up people. And they flood the church. They stay in the church. Well, what they call the church. And while I'm, speaking on the race thing, the faith-based initiative thing that Remy Norris brought up, one thing I hear some black people who are sort of on the woke, sort of on the highly intelligent side, a lot of things I hear a lot of smart black brothers and sisters say about church. Another thing that'll turn people off the church, Jonathan, and I'm sure you'll hear some people say this before.
Yeah.
For what I'm about to say, for church to be such a gathering of spirituality amongst all races, all colors, creeds, whatever, a lot of times, man, Sunday is the most segregated day of the week. It is. Sunday is segregated at the frame. You got the blacks over at their church, you got the white folks over at their church, you got the Latinos over at their church. I mean, I thought, Christian, worshiping God, everybody's supposed to be up under the same roof together as one big happy family. But we know that's the farthest thing in the world from the truth. Like I said, I don't respect no racist people. I got as much respect for somebody racist as I do a piece of, chewed up gum on the ground on the bottom of somebody's shoe or whatever. I don't respect racist people. Like I said, there's too many people using racism in the name of the Lord, using God, to go forth with racist agendas, to put down laws that's legislating against black children before they even born, against Latino children before they even born. And you got people doing these evil things in the name of Jesus. I mean, that's one huge thing that's turning people off to the church, because I don't want to sit in church sitting next to some bigot, and I know he don't like me simply because my skin is black. And I know he want to set this country back probably 500 years. But he called himself a Christian. That ain't the kind of Christian I want to be sitting next to in church. You know, I'm just keeping it real. Then another thing about the church, well, the black church anyway.
The black church.
They don't. Okay, now in the black community, churches, they don't do things like teach young black people how to open up a business. Teach them how to invest in their communities and what have you. All that is part of the church. And any minister who tells you it's not, he's lying. Because it says in the Bible, money answereth all things. Let's face it, everything in this world takes money. Yeah. Let's just real about it. If we be real about it, we just be honest, upfront, real about it. Everything in this world takes money. It even takes money to promote God's word. So anybody who tell you they live without money, they telling you a bold-faced lie. Like everything takes money. And I think the church, it used to be a strong institution, but now church don't get too much into. They don't get too much into separatism. Church don't get too much into commercialism. They don't get too much into being flashy. The church has gotten too much into big business. Really, the church now, instead of a spiritual foundation, the church has really become it's become almost like a business now. One of my friends told me a while back that it's certain churches here in Memphis, in order for you to attend, you got to fill out an application, and then they want to know what your annual income is. They want to know how much you bring in each year on the average. Now, what a church got in the business? What the church got in the business doing, knowing how much I make? That's not a pastor's business. That ain't his business how much money I make. I mean, if that's the case, why don't I just flash my ATM and bank card numbers all over Facebook? I'm on this post right now. Why don't I do that right now, Jonathan? That's why you laugh. I'm not gonna do that because that's not the Facebook artist's business. Just like they bank card numbers and stuff ain't none of my business. Now I heard.
You want to give yourself
something I heard. Now, but I'm gonna tell you something. Man, I wish I would try to go to a church and they tell me I got to fill an application out to be there. Man, Lord, man, that minister will get an earful, man. Ain't no telling what I say to that joker, man. I'll be like, what? You supposed to be a man of God? I got to fill out an application. You want to know how much money? Well, quote unquote, the pastor want to know how much he can pimp you out of. That's what it is. That's a huge thing on turning people out to the church. A lot of these pastors ain't number religious pimps. And then they even got stable. They even got their so-called hoes. They even got their so-called church hoes. I mean, a lot of them straight up pimps. I'm sure a lot of us don't heard about these pastors who messing around with women in the church. Then most of the pastors be married. Right down here in Memphis, right now, we had an incident happen last week where a pastor was shot by his mistress. And then she shot the wife in the arm. I'm sure you heard about that.
Yeah, I heard.
Cause I'm gonna tell you the name of the church. He was a pastor for Mississippi Boulevard Christian Church. That's who he was a pastor for. And then another situation happened in the church a few years ago. Now, I don't know why nobody in the black community or in the religious community, I don't know why nobody didn't make Reverend Lyons step down. You know who Reverend Lyons is, don't you?
Yeah.
You familiar with Reverend Lyons? Well, he was, the chief of the Southern Baptist Convention. The incident that happened with him some years ago, where he was messing around with this woman, his mistress, and then his wife, Reverend Lyons had bought his mistress a condominium, and Reverend Lyons' wife found out about it, and she burnt the condominium down, Now, to me, that man should have been made to step down. How How you gonna be preaching about this? You know, this goes back to our topic: why so many people turned off by the church, why so many black men turned off by it. How you go be a representative of God? You supposed to be a minister. You supposed to be an instrument of God, preaching the word of God. Here you is, you a big old holding some of these pookies and ray rays out here. You got women in the church, on the side of the church, outside of the, you got women, you got women everywhere. But you supposed to be a man of God. Somebody like that can't tell me nothing about the Bible. You ain't even living right yourself. You got to have your Jonathan, before I come and try to clean your house up, I need to have my own house in order.
Yeah.
Somebody who's supposed to be a minister, a man of God, they messing around, hoeing around with different women, and especially when they married. To me, that's not a man. That's not a man of God.
Exactly. Yeah.
That ain't no man of God. That's a pimp. That's what that is. That's exactly what that is. That's a pimp. Say it for what it is. That's a religious pimp. That's a pimp. That's not no man of God.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let me read some of these comments. Ms. Good said, I go to church, I'm going to be like Claudine when she goes up on the welfare and be like, fried. Roger said, was brainwashed by religion till age 22, took college to start analyzing that garbage. David said, God sent them to preach and were giving 500 to 2,000 a week. Which comes, Andrea said, you have a lot of the church have now become part of social media to manipulate people. Oh, wow. You can't pay your tithes for 20 years, but you can't ask for some ass and some dime. That's funny. Andrea said, funny thing, I asked him, where does the money go?
I already told you where it goes. It goes straight in Pastor's pocket. It go for Pastor's brand new Cadillac. It go for that $400,000 house Pastor living in. Some of that money go to this sexy mistress he got on the side. That's where that money go.
No, but I mean, they are the faithful preachers, though.
It definitely don't go for the betterment of the community. Now I'm reading one of David Johnson's comments. David Johnson basically saying the same thing I'm saying, Jonathan. He's saying 300 churches in the black community, but no black gas stations, no black grocery stores or schools. I agree. That's what I'm talking about. Where does all that money go? These black churches raking in billions of dollars each year. Where is that money? Where is that money going?
Exactly. It's not going nowhere.
It's not being recycled in the black community. It's going, like I said, it's going in pastor's pockets. That's where it's going. Exactly. Pastor a pimp. Pastor is a pimp. He pimping the black community is basically what he's doing. I'm not, now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there aren't any ministers out there who are just really trying to live right and really trying to be men of God, because there are. But on the other hand, there's too much corruption in the church. On the other hand, there's too many that's corrupt, using the name of God, using the name of Jesus, for their own personal gain. And it's not benefiting. It's not even benefiting the church. It's not benefiting the black community. It's not, it's not benefiting anybody but pastor.
No, but it's sad though, because remember back in the day, they always said you can find a good man in church. Not anymore. Can't really find a good man in church. So, the devil go to church too. So you always gotta be cautious of who and what you go to. My beautiful Facebook sister, Policia Smiley Covington, made interesting comment I'm about to read. She said, churches don't talk on racism neither. You know why that is? Priscilla? Because a lot of them black pastors ain't nothing but Uncle Tom handkerchief head Negroes. That's why they don't want to rock the boat. A lot of them, they trying to be in bed, trying to be in cahoots with them. They trying to be in cahoots with them big banks.
You know, big corporations that Remy was talking about. They trying to be in cahoots with these big companies and stuff. You know, they trying to suck up under these white racist business owners that don't really want black people to even be a part of anything like that. You know, that's what's going on. That's why you don't hear the church talk about racism. And racism is an injustice. And I was always taught since I was very young, a real man is going to speak out against injustice. No matter where he sees it, no matter who it is, whether it's corrupt politician, whether it's a corrupt entity like the Jewish community, whether it's these racist cops, you know, a real man is going to speak out. It's going to speak out against injustice. And then another thing, okay, Ms. Covenant brought up a good point about you don't hear churches speaking out against racism now. So far, I haven't heard any of these old handkerchief head Negro preachers come in and try to take up, you know, try to help out my man Farrakhan, try to get Farrakhan a hand. Because I'm sure everybody knows by now, Facebook and social media, they banned Minister Farrakhan. They banned him from speaking. You know, they banned, you know, showing any of his videos. They banned showing any of his speeches anywhere he speaks. Because they want to say that he's a promoter of hate, that he's anti-God, he's anti-church, he's an anti-Semite, he don't like Jews, he don't like white people. Minister Farrakhan is one of the smartest, most spiritual men I've ever seen. Because when I see Minister Farrakhan, when I see somebody like Minister Farrakhan, or, you know, Brother Leo Muhammad, when I see brothers like that, you know, I admire them. Those brothers are spiritual because actually they're the ones walking with God, because they're hitting this country with a question that they hitting America with a question they keep dancing around. America keeps dancing around the question. How can you call yourself a nation of God, a church nation, built on church values and built on Christian values, but you want to treat entire races of people differently just because of the color of their skin? I mean, you hate other people who don't look like you. You hate other people who are not white to the point of mass murder. And the church, and the black church, don't want to speak out against that. I don't want to set foot in any black church who doesn't speak out against, racism.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Martin Luther King was a very spiritual church man. And he spoke out against racism and injustice all the time. Because racism is just what it is. It's an injustice to treat somebody different who ain't done nothing to you. You're going to treat them different just because of the color of their skin. I mean, there's something seriously wrong with that. And shame on black churches for not speaking out against that. Then another thing, Miss Covington, I've even heard my own preacher, I heard my own minister say this one time, and he made me real upset. Man, the church shouldn't be getting involved in political matters. I'm like, man, please, just cause he was my minister I grew up with, don't mean I agree with every doggone thing he say. Said, man, please, if it wasn't for the black political types back in the day, man, you wouldn't be enjoying the everyday privileges you take for granted right now if it wasn't for those people. Mm-hmm. You know, it seems like now that black people, unquote, have the illusion of inclusion, and we so-called got in a comfortable position that now the church don't even want to speak out against racism. Let me tell the church something. And I hope some church people watching this. Black people still treated like third-class citizens in this country. By church people, by so-called God people. Our people are still the last hired in the first fire. We're still the most likely to be shot down like an animal by the police, unarmed, just because the police suspect we got a weapon on us. Which I still say that ain't nothing but all these police killing these unarmed black people and getting off with it. That ain't nothing. I still say that ain't nothing but somebody trying to start a race war, trying to instigate a race war. That's all it is. Because if you a police officer, like I said, if you a trained police officer and you think I got a gun on me and all I pull out a cell phone and you gonna shoot me 37 times or whatever, you can't distinguish the difference between a gun and a cell phone. And then even if I did have a gun on me, does it take shooting me 37 times to slow me down? Probably after them first couple of shots, I'm probably gonna be hanging with Elvis after them first couple of shots. It don't take shooting nobody no 37 times. That ain't no police following no procedure. That's a lynching. That's what that is. That's racism. That's a lynching. That's KKK type action. And I don't know why the church don't speak out on these things. I don't know why the church don't speak out on, well, one minister did speak out about Donald Trump. One minister did speak out about Donald Trump. But I don't know why the black church as a whole don't speak out against President Trump. That man is a racist. That man is tied in with white supremacists. That man is tied in with powerful people who don't like black people. That man is tied in with people who are so sick, if they had their way, they just get a huge gas gun and exterminate all us black people like animals. But you got people like that.
Yeah.
Preaching in the church, faith-based initiative, saying they representatives of Jesus.
That's crazy.
Those are a lot of the things that turn people off to the church. Basically, in a nutshell, a lot of the people in the church ain't nothing themselves, ain't nowhere near spiritual, ain't nowhere near people of God. I mean, a lot of people in the church just as wicked and corrupt as they can be. And these days now, I mean, you can't fool people these days. People can see right through. If you fake these days, people can see right through you. I mean, they can see right through you. It even says in the Bible that man is going to grow weaker, but he's going to grow wiser. So you can't even fool people these days.
No, you really can't. Andrea said a good client of mine gave me $500 a month for a church. I know because I've seen this, but they don't have enough gas in the car to food to eat. But yeah, though, and but Janae, she said, what does that have to do with the racism? What does that have to do with the church? You know, she said she's confused. What's your take on that?
You said, what does racism have to do with the church?
Yeah, like all the racism, you know.
Because a lot of black churches won't speak out against racism. Yeah, racism is an injustice. People of God are going to speak out against racism. That's what it has to do with the black church. A lot of these black churches, they won't speak out against racism.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you're going to have that kind of power. You got to go out there and speak out, you know. Like I said, you got that platform. You got to go out there and speak out. Reed said, my question is, why is it up to the church to stand up for the black community? Isn't that a black community as a whole job? Yeah, I mean, it is, but, you know, some people, they feel like, you know, go to church, they're supposed to do more than just preach on Sunday, you know, but, you know, you are going to minister to that many people. You need to, you know, you need to speak out on issues, you know. So, what's your take on that, Angela?
I'll tell her they take on that. If the church don't want to assume no responsibility for anything, if all they want to do is collect money and preach,